Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera.
And we're from the Gymnastics too.
And welcome to TC Tuesday.
And if you couldn't tell, Maggie is still not back this week because she was not cleared yet, so she still can't really do anything.
So we are just going to continue this week making some more videos without her because the show must go on.
Yeah.
So we thought we are going to do a Gymnastics Basics video because like we did a few weeks ago for Cheer Basics, we said if you guys wanted us to make a Gymnastics Basic video, then to thumbs that video up, and if we got enough thumbs up, we would do a Gymnastics Basic video.
So hopefully this will be really helpful for you guys because we're planning on having a lot of information in here for good tips and just a lot of stuff that would be good for beginners to know.
So it's going to be chock full of information. Hopefully you understand it all. We're going to be talking not really about the actual skills themselves, just a few of those, but more about the events and programs and all that sort of stuff.
What to expect.
So let's go ahead and get started.
So the very first thing that we're going to be talking about is the events that are in gymnastics.
So for women's gymnastics, there are 4 different events, and we're not going to talk about boys gymnastics because we are obviously not qualified
to talk about that because obviously that's not something we're experts in.
It's not too different, but we're just going to stick with women's because I don't want to have to get anything wrong about boys gymnastics. Not going there. So the first event we're going to talk about is floor, everyone's favorite event.
So if you don't know what it looks like, this is what it looks like. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know what it looks like.
It's the longer name is floor exercise.
If you want to get technical. It's just basically a spring floor. There's springs underneath it, so it's bouncy. And that's just what the event is.
It's like the most basic gymnastics event. You tumble on it, you do leaps, jumps, turn your dance elements. Basically, all the gymnastics events kind of circle around floor, not technically, but
basically a lot of stuff you can practice on floor is going to help you in all the different other events, and that's where you're going to be able to practice a lot more stuff on it because you can do stuff on floor basically anywhere, even if it's not on an actual floor.
And for practice, I think this is typical, but especially for our gym, floor is definitely the event that you practice the most because it helps you with all the other events.
Yeah.
Now we are moving on to our next event, which we are going to be talking about, is beam.
So this is what beam looks like. It's just basically a long little
It's typically the scariest event to everyone.
Especially.
It's just no one really likes being up high on a skinny surface that you can fall off of. Not very appealing to many people except for us gymnasts.
You have to really let it grow on you in order to like beam. I struggle to like beam. It's not my favorite event, but when I do good, I like it.
I actually do like beam. I just think it's fun because, I don't know. It's a challenge, so it's pretty fun. Beam is kind of just like floor. You still do an acro series, which is tumbling, I guess, but you don't really tumble on the beam. You do. Never mind. But on beam, you kind of call it acro. So.
And especially it's going to be a lot less difficult than stuff you can do on floor.
Unless you're
if you're elite, then
you basically have to do what you do on floor on beam. But if you're beam is typically easier skills than what you do on floor for your level. So, yeah. And aside from just the stuff that you do on floor being on beam, you have your mount and your dismount, which you also have on bars. But basically, a mount and a dismount is...
A mount is how you get on the beam. It can be anything, fancy or not fancy. And then a dismount is just how you get off the beam. And also, if you didn't know, the beam is 4 inches wide. That's just the standard.
So, yeah. But please learn mount and dismount because even when I'm coaching, I'm okay, do your dismount. And then they're what's that? And I'm I already told you last week what a dismount is. So, keep in mind, it's just... And you usually have a set dismount. So, if they say, do your dismount, do oh, I have to do this off the beam. So, yeah.
That also goes along with terminology, but that kind of covers, into this, too. The next event that we're going to be talking about is the uneven bars. That's the technical name sometimes. They're just referred to as bars.
Yeah. Beam, going back to that, is, more specifically balance beam, but everyone just calls it beam. For bars, for women's gymnastics, there's uneven bars. Boys has parallel bars, and then high bar. So we're going to be talking about just uneven bars.
They look like that.
Basically, you have the small bar on the bottom, and then up higher you have the second bar. That's just higher up. And
if you're at a lower level, a lot of times you only do the low bar, and then once you get to a higher level, then you start going to the high bar. So,
yeah. For bars, basically what you do is you have your mount and your dismount, just like beam, how you get on and off the bars. And then basically bars is just about circling around the bars with different scales. If you look at bars, it's basically just going around the bar different ways. Just a lot of circling. Yeah, you switch bars back and forth. You don't really go back and forth to a higher level, but you definitely go from low bar to high bar when you're like middle of the levels.
And the last event that we have to talk about is vault. And vault sometimes really depends. Either you love it or you hate it a lot of the times.
Vault's really fast.
Vault. I just really like doing vault.
Vault's really fast. It's over in like 10 seconds, probably less.
And it's kind of weird because vault is the only event that you get 2 times to do it.
Yeah.
So every other event you only get 1 time, but for vault you get 2 turns.
And for meets, it depends, I think, on either your level or your program, but sometimes sometimes for meets, they'll just take the higher of your 2 scores, or sometimes they'll just take the average between the scores. I think it just depends.
Yeah, you don't have to compete 2 times. It's just an option. Like, I know even at like our level, if you don't want to compete it twice, you don't have to. You just have to tell the judge you're only going once.
But a lot of gyms, I think, want you to compete it twice, especially if it's like to take the higher of the scores, because why not? But vault's really like the biggest event in my opinion that's got like such a wide range of possibilities that you can do on it.
Yeah, I mean a lot of times from like level to level you keep doing like a front handspring over, but also like not just like the table vault, which is what this is. Like if you're at a lower level you might just do the mat like TBT to when me and Ciera first started gymnastics. We'll play a clip right here of like our very first gymnastics meet.
We didn't even use the table.
It's
it was just like
big,
the mat.
That's also what vault is if you're at a younger level.
I've seen like the lowest vault thing that I've seen is when you just jump on like the board and then you land on a mat that's like, a foot high.
Your feet land on it and you just try and
You literally jump on the thing and then jump on the mat and try to stick it.
So vault really like it just depends on your level. It can be all sorts of different things.
There's just so many different things you can do. It's so fast. Basically for vault, you gotta jump on a board, put your hands on the table, and land. That's all I can think of that's uniform for basically all the vaults except for like the baby one. Alright, now we're going to be talking about some different terminology that is used in gymnastics. This is kind of similar to cheerleading terminology because it's like tumbling, it's like the same thing basically, but we do have a couple of other things to share as well.
So the first word we're going to talk about is set. This was also in our Cheer Basics video.
Set is the thing when you use your arms to like give you more power in a skill. Before any flip especially, that's when you want to use set because you can't use your hands.
Yeah.
So you have to get as much power as you can.
So basically if your coach is like, where's your set? Or you need to set more, they're basically saying, make sure you use your arms to go up first and not just like go really low.
The next thing we're talking about is hollow. I think this is really important because a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, what the heck does hollow mean? I don't know. Hollow is when your body is not straight. Basically every skill, unless it's an arch skill, is when you're hollow, which is when you're...
We also talked about this in our front handspring vault video.
Yeah.
Hey, everything ties together now.
Who'd have thought? Your arms are like up, and then you can like kind of like just barely see your toes. Your body is just like in the slightest curve.
Another word that would be helpful to know is block. We also talked about this in our front handspring video, but like everything kind of comes together, so it makes sense, right?
And also vaults, like you can really see all the stuff used in vault, especially like set, block, hollow. All those happen like right away in vault.
So basically what block is you're going to be pushing yourself like off the ground or up.
I'll face the side. Block is when you use your shoulders.
Like you don't want to block with your elbows because that's not block.
Because when you block and you bend your elbows, it's going to be really hard to push them back out.
And it doesn't count as block, sorry. No. So your arms have to be locked out and straight, but this little shoulder movement going on, that's what block is.
So when we do our handstand hops, we're moving our shoulders
and
as
not
we
trying to
hop
push
off
off the
hands.
ground.
So that is what block is. If you think it's like bending your arms, it's not. It's just pushing through your shoulders. This is like the most common thing you hear in gymnastics, straight legs and pointed toes.
Now, first of all, we'll talk about pointed toes first. Even though it's like pointed toes, do not like
crunch your toes together,
up, like because like obviously that's what it sounds like, point your toes.
It's like you think you need to like squeeze your toes. That is not pointed toes, that's like crunched toes.
Yeah, and it's
basically
not pretty.
It's kind of weird. When they say point toes, it mostly just means like don't flex your feet, so like point your ankle.
It's rather like instead of pointing your toes, it's just straighten out your ankle so it's all nice and it's straight.
So it's not really pointed toes, it's more like don't flex your feet. So, yeah. Then for straightening your legs, it's all through the knees, my friend. All through the knees.
Just make sure your legs are locked out, and it should all just like go in a straight line. Your knees should be straight, your toes should be pointed.
Generally, it's really hard to not point your toes when your legs are straight.
Yeah.
Like it's just really awkward. When you point your leg, okay. When you straighten your leg, you pretty much straighten the whole thing. So just make sure as long as your legs are like not bent, everything should go pretty smoothly. If you're just starting gymnastics, for practice wear, I wouldn't recommend buying a leotard right away because they tend to be really expensive. So unless you already have one or you can find one for cheap, I would just stick to wearing a t-shirt and some exercise shorts. But if you feel like you're going to stick with gymnastics, then I would go ahead and buy a leotard because you're probably going to have to buy one anyways. And if you want to, you can usually wear shorts over them.
We hope you guys liked this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, and let's try to get this video to like 7,000 likes. Does that seem doable, you guys? Just one click down there.
If you haven't liked it, just like scroll down, click, done. Make sure you click the right one.
Yeah. There's one that looks like this.
And one like this.
You want to do that one.
This one's better. So, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I don't know if you said that already, but whatever. Saying it again if she hasn't said it. We're hoping to get 200,000 subscribers soon. So that'd be really cool.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. Hopefully Maggie will be back. Probably not this week on Flipping Friday, but hopefully next week on TC Tuesday.
We can hope, but watch us like end up making a video and it's like she's not back.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, we're hoping. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully you thought it was helpful to you if you're starting gymnastics or you just started and you're trying to learn the ropes to it.
Ooh. Comment down below something you learned from this video. If you learned anything, and if you didn't, then say you gave this video a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Because you liked it anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you on Flipping Friday.
Bye.